Alright everybody, Colonel Matt here. We are on day 4 of Benchwork. We've cleared out our area and we are getting prepped to do our next 2 sections. That would be the part up by the wall and the first part of our peninsula structure, although you can't really call it a peninsula anymore because we're going to have some cross area over there. So it doesn't actually count. But it's good and close enough for our description. Already today we've done a little bit of work notching out a corner over here so that we can get down and under to our yard. It'll be a very steep curve, or very steep grade in there, but for yard work it's less than, you know, what's the maximum of the engines as we've done testing, and they can come up a fairly steep grade. You might not be able to pull 200 or 300 cars, you know, so you wouldn't be doing it anyway. But it gives you just enough for you to come up and down in chunks to hide and build a consist. It'll be a kind of like a hump yard. Everything will coast down and be really interesting. So while Mr. Ernst is cutting our cross members, he's already cut the parts for the back half. He's now readying this half. I've gone ahead and taken the side pieces for each. I've marked them for the ends, the center, and then our basically it's 2, 4, and 6 foot where we're putting in cross pieces. I've got it marked, and now we're going to pre-drill on these so that when it comes time to screw into it, we're not going to have a risk of splitting, and it's going to be a lot easier. Too much work documenting everything.
You know what? Somebody's gonna watch it.
You know, people have watched it. Now, some of you might ask, what type or brand of tools we're using, and surprisingly enough, well, we do have a number of very nice items. A DeWalt chop saw, a Craftsman here, the laser level we were doing with a Craftsman, nice Black & Decker cordless drill. A surprising amount is cheap Chinese crap, came from Harbor Freight Tools, and as long as you're careful about what you're buying, I think you'd be surprised how well some of it can hold up. This drill, for example, the 2 black and red drills that you've seen before are all Harbor Freight, and they've pretty much been used non-stop since the project's begun, including the wall. Now, to be fair, it was a Milwaukee hammer drill that put the tap guns into the wall, because you got to stand like this for like 45 minutes trying to get a single screw in without a hammer drill. It's just the way it works.
Hammer drill, best invention made by man.
Yep, right tool, right job. So, I think you'd be surprised. You don't have to have the most expensive or the best tools. You can get by with an awful lot of stuff. And what's required to do this isn't beyond what most people have. So. Oh yeah. So we have the back 2 parts constructed. Well, the back part and the front part of the peninsula. Now, because of this, how wide it is, what we're going to end up doing is we'll have the normal lengthwise braces, such as that, at shelf height, which is the same as what we're doing back there. And then there will be diagonal cross braces on the front and back pair of legs there, just to make sure that it's going to be sturdy. We don't actually have any doubt that it won't be, but it's better safe than sorry. Eventually there'll be a part securing the two together here. We'll have to probably crawl underneath. That's going to be one of the last things to go in. One of the very last things to go in. Because before that, we'll get all the supports up for the upper layer track that we're going to have to work with back there. Then we don't have to crawl into it over and over and over and over and over and over. Some folks here are old, and bending over is not the easiest things to do.
The horse you rode in on too.
So next up, legs. We've already got our legs chopped because you saw that we had done the whole set of those. And legs, yes, see, legs. It's that kind of show where, you know, so we'll get the these two set, clamped. We'll get it going. Okay, so what we've done is we've gotten our back section up, just like we talked about. We've got the first 6 legs in on it, well, all 6 legs, and it's had a basic level job done to it. It's attached at this end, and it's roughly level. You won't be able to see it, but if I take this, I get a pretty good level, front to back, or lengthwise. I can get the level in like this, and we're really good as far as being front to back. So next, what we've done, the method we've put the legs on, is we set the end of the first piece of bench work here on a standing portion. Then, for our measurement, it works for us, we would take our leg, and at 11 inches from this inside surface, we screw in the top, adjust for right angled, and then we screw in the bottom. And we do the exact same thing on the opposite end. We start 11 inches from the inside of this board, center it, get the top screw in, take our square, triangle, and we put it right in. And what that does is we can then basically just lift it up and shift it forward and set it down on the ground. At that point we can line it up. It's actually fairly well lined up right now. This portion is what we viewed as a service walkway, and as such it's only 24 inches wide. Now if someone wanted to come back here and tinker and play after the layout's built, there is enough room for them to freely move and not have much of a problem. On the other side, that's where most people will be viewing from, so we're giving it more room. It's going to be at least 12 inches wider than this, and that allows 2 people to easily pass each other. Not that you couldn't do it here, it'd just be a lot more comfortable over there. So the next step, get these legs on, secure it where it needs to be there, and then adjust for level. After that, we can put in our sideboards. We're going to put in a pair of crosses on the front and back here, and get everything re-leveled, because even though we go and we square this up, you still get a little bit of wobble. So when we go to put our cross pieces in, we re-square it, secure, come to the next, square it, secure it, and then it's a lot stiffer. Okay. First things first, second things second. Just need to get that down. Wow. It's like the floor's not level or something.
Yeah.
Clamps. this corner right. It's currently not.
Where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Stay there. And the inside face there. I need to come. Okay. So,
This has got to be a big.
yeah, big.
It's going to take a bunch of 5 or 6.
Okay.
I can't get a good push on it. See, you get a push on it. I couldn't get it there.
Good. Now the back side should be relatively level.
You know what would be interesting?
Not bad. I'll have to do some minor adjustment.
Go from, I mean, we don't have the legs done yet, but
Well, that's part of how I'm going to have to level it. that's the low part of the floor.
That's gonna really have to come up.
Yeah.
And that one's already extended pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not critical here though, is it?
No, we only have to come reasonably close. So let me get out that
And
way.
you know, we could always put spacers underneath it if they're too short. Actually, this end is real close. That's good. That's good. Down in the flesh leather, made from the finest of nuggets. Yeah,
What was that?
that was a mistake. Woo! Polish. Holy shit. I can see it's coming down. At least it looks like it is. Oh, now you're off of there.
Like that, I'm good. And like that, still good. So if you lower that foot,
You're not level though over with the other one.
Mike, how are we front to back?
Oh shit, this is tight.
Yeah, let me grab the wrench for you. Here you go. Wrench. I do need to bring both of these up ever so slightly. So, these are the same height.
You know, too, we can get a bigger bolt too.
This way I remain level, and this way I am.
Boy, look at that. Look at the difference between that one board and the other one.
We're at.
Right here. This, when you put across,
Oh yeah.
it's the one was half an inch lower.
Actually, that's really pretty good. All things considered, that's not bad.
So this is pretty good too.
Yeah, I think we're in really good shape. All we have to do is make sure that this is just touching, and then drop the other sides. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for a basic level. I'm good.
Okay.
So,
Train will never know the difference.
well,
It looks pretty good through here too. You just sit down in the corner and look across.
well, the fact that I can take this
Now, how much farther does this thing go?
quite almost to within 24 inches of that other face.
Holy shit, that's another big piece, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So which one are we doing now?
The next piece that we're probably not doing tonight is the stuff over here.
Okay.
Because otherwise, all of our dimensions back in here are pretty easy.
Yeah.
The stairs are the absolute only gray area.
Yeah.
So, because we've done that, I can now do this. And there you go. So that's all we've done today. We've got the 2 new pieces of benchwork constructed up on legs and a rough level on them. Tomorrow we're thinking to get the cross beams in for support, along with some additional bench work up over by the stairs, and we're hoping to get that up and even further along. Now we decided to break out some of the track and see if we could do a mock-up of what we're going to have laid down. So we're going to show you that in just a second. Now, unlike my other mock-up, looks like that, paper, this is nearly a 1-to-1 mock-up. So it's bigger, better. Okay, what we have here is you're sitting by the front window on a piece of track that's on a piece of board that's on our bench work. And we're looking out over a Burlington Northern hopper. So, as we come forward and approach the front wall, we're going to go into an 054 curve that's going to make its way around the aisle that you saw us put in earlier. And it actually goes the full 054 curve and then starts to curve back in. And the reason it has to do that is that's the only way that we could fit into that area. So it's going to continue forward a little bit, hit another 054 curve, and it'll straighten back out to go along the straightaway for our center section. Now right now it stops early, and that's because we don't have the next piece of benchwork created. That benchwork is about 6.5 feet further. So after 6.5 further feet, we're going to come and we're going to start on the curve. They'll do an 054 curve around the inside, and then we'll go on an outbound heading this way. Now, some notes in the future, at about right here, there's going to be a left-handed switch, 054, that'll go into a siding, and that's going to be a passenger terminal. That line is going to be the better part of about 14 feet long. It's pretty big, and the purpose is we have a pretty long passenger train we'd like to run on it. And then you'll carry forward, and when you get to roughly here, we're going to start our 054 curve to the right, and that will bring us up and around and put us back in that direction. Now right now we've got an extra piece of track in the middle of our curve there, so it doesn't quite line up perfectly the way we're going to do it. But it gave us a good idea of how everything is going to fit, and it looks like it is going to fit. So let's do a high overview. From our back wall, we will have a 24-inch service walkway that will allow us to come up and carry up that way. Now that is a 24-inch walkway. And so we'll come up. This will be a double track. Right up in here, the outer track is going to go straight across, while the inner one will switch in. There will be a switch over yonder that will allow you to decide whether you want to be on the inner or the outer to do a bypass. Eventually, there will likely be another double switch over there for the very same reason. So now the benchwork comes out and stops 6 foot short. Brackets for later, after which we simply curve along and finish for the day. So I hope that gives you an idea of what we'd like to do. So for today, it's Colonel Matt, Crazy Mr. Ernst, and we are signing off.